All right, guys, welcome to First and Goal. I'm your host, Flavo Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. All right, guys, so Cowboys and Kansas City Chiefs were the featured game that everybody has circled in their week for Sunday yesterday. And it's supposed to be some high scoring game. Obviously, there was no Amari Cooper, but going into this game, the game was at Arrowhead, and you know, Dallas was on a roll. Dallas, they ended up losing. They ended up losing to the Broncos a couple weeks ago. Bounced back. Had a huge game against the Falcons. All right, and now they come into Kansas City on trying to make a statement against Kansas City Chiefs, which they haven't looked very great this entire year. I mean, Patrick Mahomes hasn't looked that great in the first 5 or 6 games, if I'm not mistaken. At one point, I think he was like dead even on interceptions and touchdowns. I think he was like a 7 apiece or anything like that. And going into this game, no Amari Cooper. I'm like, all right, cool. They might have to run the ball. They might have to slam it on Kansas City's defense, which Kansas City's defense has been pretty much atrocious. Okay, and Tyrann Mathieu was going into this game hurt. I think he had like a banked up knee or something along that nature. So I'm like, all right, fine. Amari Cooper is out. Tyrann Mathieu is gonna have to most likely cover. Double cover on CeeDee Lamb, who seems to be the second best receiver outside of Cooper, and then you have Gallup as that third, receiver. He could play anywhere. But man, guys, the defense really did show up for the Chiefs. The Chiefs really, held the Cowboys without a touchdown. The Chiefs even got a scoring touchdown themselves too. Chiefs going into that game, they had, and look, the defense, all right, Charvarius Ward, all right, 5 tackles and had an interception, okay. L'Jarius Sneed, he had an interception as well too. This team was really doing their part. You had a touchdown by Travis Kelce, who was rushing the football. You had a rushing touchdown by Clyde Edwards-Helaire, another person that was rushing the football. And guys, they look pretty good. Patrick Mahomes. Did he look very Patrick Mahomes-esque? No, because he, even though he did throw for 260 yards, that's nothing to really sneeze at. All right. Problem is he didn't have a touchdown. He threw 1 interception, but that's fine. But the defense really held it down for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's something that we can't say on a consistent basis, on a week in, week out basis with the Kansas City Chiefs, because when you think about the Chiefs, you think about the explosive offense of Patrick Mahomes, him behind center, throwing it to Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Byron Pringle, McCole Hardman, and the whole bunch. But, they scored 19 points and they were able to hold down the Cowboys to just 9 points. All right. Something that I just didn't expect happening. I thought this was going to be more of a high scoring game. I honestly predicted the Chiefs were going to win 30-26, but 19-9. Oof, man. Dak Prescott did not have a great game. He was sacked a couple times. I know he fumbled the football. He was 28 for 43 for just 216 yards. Look, guys, if you're throwing the ball 43 times and you only get 216 yards passing, that is not a good thing whatsoever. All right, that means that the defense was all over you and you're making bad, ill-advised passes. Dak threw 2 interceptions in very crucial times. All right, Zeke wasn't able to get the ball running. He was banged up at one point into the game, limping off the field. Off of a tackle onto the sidelines. He rushed the ball for 9 yards, 9 times for 32 yards. Tony Pollard, 7 rushes for 50 yards. I think it really did hurt, not having Amari Cooper, not making any excuses for the Cowboy fans or for the Cowboys. But Dalton Schultz had to, get a little bit more of the touches. He was like 6 for 53, 6 for 52. Gallup was 5 for 44. All right, so we saw a little bit of the ball spread out a little bit more. But this is something that, again, this is where they needed an Amari Cooper. And the Chiefs, when you were able to realize, hey, no Amari Cooper, no problem, Chiefs were able to realize that they could focus in on 2 receivers. They could focus in on CeeDee Lamb. They could focus on Michael Gallup. They can't double everybody, but they could definitely try to contain, and they were able to do that. CeeDee Lamb didn't have a great game whatsoever as well. He had what's it called, 3 receptions for 14 yards. The game plan was to really contain CeeDee Lamb. I don't know how the game plan would have been if they would have had to deal with Amari Cooper also on the other end of the field. But CeeDee Lamb to have that low of a production of a game really just shows that, you know what, Andy Reid and his defensive coordinator, I can't remember the guy off the top of my head. I know it's not really Andy because Andy's more of an offensive coach, but the defensive coordinator he was the coordinator for the Giants, Steve Spagnuolo, yeah, for Steve Spagnuolo to figure out a way on how to attack and try to contain, Dak for not using his big play weapons was very huge, and it really did contain the Cowboys from making any kind of big time plays. Yeah, guys. I mean, like what you had Noah Brown, he had a drop. Sean McKinnon, I don't know who he is, but he ended up having 1 reception for 2 yards. Malik Turner, another unknown player, 1 reception for 11 yards. Tony Pollard, 2 receptions for 20 yards. Cedric Wilson, 4 receptions for 36. See, guys, I mean, there's only one person that had over 50 yards, and that was Dalton Schultz, and he had 6 receptions. As for the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, like I said, you had Mahomes throwing for 260, which is a little bit better than what Dak ended up doing. It was more of a defensive game. But you had Tyreek, 9 receptions for 77 yards. You had Kelsey, 5 receptions for 74 yards. But mind you, guys, he did have that rushing touchdown. Byron Pingle, 1 reception for 37 yards, and that was a big play right there. And the Chiefs did everything that they could. They got the victory. They got what they needed to get done. And moving on forward, the Cowboys, they're going to be facing, I believe, the Las Vegas Raiders on Thanksgiving Day, which is in a couple of days. It's in a few days away. As for the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe they face they have a bye week. They have a bye week, and then they face the Broncos. So it's a nice little rest. Be able to spend time with the family. Be able to spend some Thanksgiving dinner and enjoy, what lies ahead of them. But Cowboys could definitely run the table, in my opinion, going into after losing the Kansas City Chiefs, because this is the one game that a lot of people had focused on. Can Kansas City defeat the Cowboys, or could the Cowboys defeat the Chiefs? Mind you, guys, look, Kansas City are the 2-time reigning AFC champs. They have gone to the Super Bowl back-to-back consecutive years. Is it possible that they ended up finding their groove, finding their niche, and they might be going back to the Super Bowl this year? It's very possible, but the way that New England ended up playing this past Thursday, New England is right up there too, guys. Don't sleep on New England. Just because they have a rookie QB, that does not mean they have a rookie head coach who hasn't been there before. He knows what he's doing. He has an idea, and Mac Jones has looked pretty good. I think the biggest fear for the Kansas City Chiefs has to be the New England Patriots, because what we ended up seeing with Buffalo just wet the bed and allowed Jonathan Taylor to score 5 touchdowns. Bill Belichick would never, ever allow a player to score 5 touchdowns in one game. That's just something that he would never allow happen. And Sean McDermott has a lot to answer for that as the Bills head coach. But the Chiefs, I think it's going to come down to the Chiefs and the Patriots to see who's going to come out of the AFC. As for the Cowboys are pretty, are contenders in this aspect where they can definitely, make it out of the NFC. I mean, they're in a very weak division. They got to really worry about the Rams, who is on a 2-game losing streak, lost to the Titans, and lost to, the San Francisco 49ers, who punched them right in the face, and they had no answer for them whatsoever. The Packers, who lost a close one in Minnesota. Packers are looking pretty good. Even in a loss, the defense just didn't have all the people that they needed for in that type of a game, of a shootout against 2 of the biggest, best receivers in the league. They might be like the best duo in Jefferson and Adam Thielen. And then outside of that, I mean, it's the Cowboys. So you got like those 3 teams, and the Tampa Bay Bucks, who I can never, cross off, because of the fact they have Tom Brady. And with Tom Brady, he finds ways to win games. So are the Cowboys able to run the table and possibly go to the Super Bowl? I don't know. I think they can definitely run the table in the regular season going into the playoffs. And then their whole goal is they need to get that first round bye to make sure they buy themselves time so they can have a little bit more health on their side. Kansas City, I love the schedule that they have ahead of them. They got the Broncos. They're gonna face the Raiders. They're gonna face the Chargers. All right, so they're facing teams within their division. The Steelers, the day after Christmas, will be a little bit tough. I can see them definitely going to Cincinnati and beating them, and I can definitely see them beating up on the Broncos on January 9th. So yeah, guys, the next 6 games, I could definitely see maybe the Chiefs going 6-0, maybe 5-1. Only team I could see them really go losing to is maybe the Chargers, and because that's at SoFi, and what's it called? There's something about the Chiefs playing in Los Angeles that just doesn't really resonate. Where I feel like they're gonna get the victory. I don't know. There's just some reason in that weird rivalry between the Chargers and Chiefs. I just picked the Chargers in that one. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. All right. Will the Cowboys run the table? Will they make it to the Super Bowl? Do they have the ability to make the Super Bowl, even though they ended up losing to the Chiefs? And did Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, figure it out? And are they ready to run the table? Guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys for next week's football games. Till then, see you guys and have a good one.